Willkommen and bienvenue. You're joining me here in Fallout 4 on the PlayStation 5. During a moment of some difficulty, just being attacked by some naughty robot. A little naughty robot of the Annihilator Sentry type thing. Fusion cores, oh how lovely, and missiles. Oh, marvelous. Absolutely not. Anyway, what's the point of this video? Why am I here? Out in the middle of bloody nowhere. Bloody nowhere. Nowhere city. Of course, Fallout 4 is in the Americas. And as I make this video, Fallout London is... well, it's been out for a few weeks now. To much well-deserved acclaim. It is incredibly popular. Unsurprisingly, given the lack of other Fallout content. So here we are. What's he now? We're on the map. Oh yes, Water construction site. Oh, I need to level up as well. So one starts the game over here. The pre-game sequence begins in Sanctuary before the war of 2077. You go into the vault here at 111. Yeah, where you are cryogenically suspended for 200 years and emerge to a very changed world. But in this playthrough, I've oh look how many people I've got living in the sanctuary. I've previously made videos about this place that I built at Sanctuary, where I'm building a Knight's Hospitaller preceptory, basically a large farming estate designed to generate income for things like crusades and, well, originally for the crusades and for helping people in the Holy Land, but as they still exist to this very day, the Knights Templar would use monies generated by such things as farming estates differently. For instance, here there's a small, again it's a small farming community at the Water construction site, which is now Water Hospitaller Preceptory. It's a much smaller place than I have at Sanctuary Hills. It's basically a very sort of low level largely timber construction. Circuit of ramshackle walls, or rather timber fences by and large, protecting the community. The central castle keep, which is, oh, and a little graveyard here, whereas people do die. It's the kind of thing they do at the end of their lives,
Yes.
even if not prematurely put there by accidents and disease or just being shot. That's a lovely gun you've got there. The railway rifle. So this creepy little location here, out in the boondocks, out in the swamps, like the Everglades or something like that. A very moist little neighbourhood. I think there are only 7 or 8 people living here. But being hospitalers and hospitality and hospitals, they're a big thing. Looking after the sick, the elderly, the infirm, the poor. This is a bit like a leper hospital. Although in medieval times, was it the Knights of St. Lazarus, I think, had what they called Lazar houses, specifically for leprosy victims. Anyway, I don't know if the Knights of St. Lazarus still exist. The hospitals certainly do, so in the Americas, they've taken over.
Yeah.
And the white cross on the black background, well, for the longest time was their emblem, their sigil. It's quite a well protected community. There might just be a circuit of timber palisades and picket fence, the occasional guard post.
Yes.
It's got plenty of these mechanized gun turrets defending the keep, which is in the style of a 17th century Scots baronial tower house. Probably built in Victorian times, Victorian Gothic revival. Queen Victoria, who reigned for 60 years, dying in, I think it was 1901.
You should know. People have been complaining about that situation.
She adored Scotland and Scottish culture and so on. Greatly reintroduced a lot of anachronistic Scottish things like tartan and haggis and porridge. And the architecture, Scots baronial. You have these tower houses, like miniature medieval keeps.
Yes.
So they're complaining about the bed situation. Can't believe that. I'm going to build nude and see how many beds I've got per person. 11 beds, 8 people living here. What's the problem? I know for a fact that they don't like going upstairs, which is why most of the beds are on, quite literally, on the ground floor. On the ground here. In fact, maybe I need to build more, put in more beds. This is a dining room, a refectory, which is what you call a dining room in a monastic or educational establishment. Many old schools and colleges had refectories Back in the Harry Potter universe, Hogwarts probably had a refectory rather than a dining hall. Still, there are a lot of people here. Maybe 11 beds is not enough. Of course, you can go onto the roof of all these low buildings. And they're all very low rise, kind of close to the ground. They wanted the keep to be preeminent, to predominate,
Can't remember the last time I had
and stand out. We've got a little house over here. I'm sure there's a couple of beds in there. There's a nice outside toilet, or a toilet out in the landing, and 2 beds. Yeah, what's the problem? Why is the TV not working? I've not got power out to here. So I don't have power out here. Ah, never mind. Well, what I haven't actually done here is build a hospital. Preferring these small, almost small, out-of-the-way structures. Because leprosy was a communicable disease. So not having everyone living in the same building probably helps prevent the spread or reduce the spread of the disease. And here we are in the keep. Maybe I should put a sleeping bag on the floor here to increase the numbers of beds. But why should I? I sometimes think this game just likes to complain. Being a defensible structure, the windows on the lower floors are very small. A bit like arrow slits. So it's not just built in the style of a medieval building, it kind of functions like one as well. Many Victorian buildings built in medieval style didn't adhere to medieval proportions or indeed their functions, but then they didn't need to. Whereas here, in post-apocalyptic America, the need for a defensible structure is much greater. Here's the bathroom, again another lovely, comfortable toilet. Watch for splinters in your arse. Display case used for a window here. Ah, here's the door of the display case. Running water, clean running water in fact. They go down into the basement, I don't know. Have I been down there? There's a downstairs toilet. I think maybe a toilet or bathroom on each floor. I'm not entirely sure. Here's someone's got their bedroom. Not entirely uncomfortable, I would say. Generator here. And a water pump or water purifier. Because of course it's a very wet site. these bureau doors as windows because it suits the medieval aesthetic. Even though they didn't have much glass in domestic buildings in medieval times, it was almost exclusively used for palaces and churches, cathedrals and so on. But then Hospitallers, medieval order. And of course, if this was built in Victorian times, glass was plentiful by then. Very comfortable little room. Again, these bureau doors as windows. There's a fire guard here. Comfortable beds. Proper bathroom this time. Complete with bath. Oh, you look nice today. How you can tell in this appallingly opaque mirror is anyone's guess. Mind you, there's a better mirror here. And cleanliness is next to godliness. Now wash your hands. Ooh, toilet paper as well. Yeah. And towels. What a lovely little bath. And going up the roof. I've used a lot of CVA, which is a mod which provides things like leaf litter and some trees and all this plant matter that you see on the building here. That's all from CVA. I like CVA because it makes the building look more authentic, more embedded into the landscape, more a part of the environment. And a comfortable little attic room where you can sit down by the fire. Keep warm, even though the place is drafty as sin and probably leaks like a sieve when it rains. Given the sort of, it looks like aircraft parts that have been used to build the roof. Parts of an aircraft hull, fuselage. And they're usually skinned with aluminium, which is probably crumbled in places. So it's very holy. Again, ideal for a religious establishment. It's holy. Oh yes, and go out to this domed room here in the corner. I've not put anything here yet so far. I don't know whether you need to be religious to be a part of the Knights Hospitaller. I suppose it might have been a requirement in medieval times, but maybe not so much so nowadays. For instance, I work for a religious organization. I work for the Salvation Army, which, though much more recent, I think they were founded in Victorian times. I'm not particularly religious. I don't have their Christian values, but they don't insist. They're quite happy to have me helping out. Most of the work I do for them is entirely voluntary, so but I have actually thought about finding out more about the Knights Hospitallers, the modern day Hospitallers, the Knights of St. John of Malta, and Rhodes. And whether it's possible for in this modern day to become a Knight of St. John, to become a Knight Hospitaller, what are the requirements for that? What do you need to do? And so this is my Knights Hospitaller playthrough, very medieval style. Oop, getting up close and personal with this double-headed cow. People will talk, won't they? But this is not the only preceptory type or hospitaller settlement I've been building. This is one of the more complete. I also have one, my main one there. I've featured that in previous videos at Sanctuary Hills with a population of 47. And one of my newer ones, again it's still under construction, is here. And this is a mod. This particular settlement is a mod. It doesn't exist in the base game, in the vanilla game. So here again I'm building a small farming community with a castle keep at its heart. It's quite a nice settlement. I recommend this mod. It's quite good. Nice little. Again, it's like Murkmire or Murkwater. It's in the swamps. Perfectly suited to this kind of lifestyle. You can imagine a knightly order wanting to create retreats where people might recover from whatever. Rural retreats out in the country. A lot of these structures were here to begin with. They come with the mod now. Enlarged and improved them, put in some electrical facilities. I've currently switched off the recruiting beacon. I've kept most of this bar and its furnishings because I quite like it. Hubbard's Journal. That's part of the quest you have to do, a mini quest to obtain this site, make it your own settlement. But just like at Murkmire, Murkwater, whatever it's called. It's quite a modest and slightly shambolic shanty town style community. Very low ceilings, very low roofs here. But it's so low that you can't pass under this bit because of the beams, low beams. Generators, wind generators, wind turbines for power. And the cube itself has a drawbridge, which is up at the moment, so you can't actually get in the proper doorway. So I left a little back door here beside the main water pump. And crafting stations in the basement.
My ride counter is spiking. We may want to move.
Oh yes, the toilet here. The condense just drop us straight into the moat, or the pond that doubles as a moat. But I quite like it, the secluded nature of this sort of community. It is like some of the more closed religious orders where they have seclusion as an important part of their lifestyle. So this is quite an early stage in the building. And of course it's right almost in the furthest extremity of the map. If you consider you would start in one corner, this is almost the opposite corner. There's a lot more space inside this keep that I can develop. This tower. And this is as far as I've got with the building. So thank you for joining me here in Fallout 4 on the PlayStation 5. And for listening to my rabbiting on about the Knights Hospitaller. So if you like what I do, if you can stand to listen to my voice, you can signify by liking this video by giving it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, if you're curious about my other stuff I've done, or you want to see my other hospitaller buildings, my main building in Sanctuary Hills, you can check out the videos I've made there. By subscribing to my channel, which helps the YouTube algorithm to direct you to similar content and indeed more videos that I've made. So thanks again for watching this. Ta-ta for now. Cheerio.